So hello and welcome back to part 2 of episode 7? 8? 8. There we go. I will remember what number we're doing sometime. Of Film Focus, our weekly independent film review show where we're looking at 2 more new releases, or newish releases, and more trailers that have been released online. I'm Fred Black.
I'm Anthony Squire.
Yeah, and this week we start off with the Luc Besson written Bandidas, which
basically
the
turn of the century into the 20th century. It's set in Mexico. 2 random women, opposite personalities, but they have to team up against a ruthless
Nicolas Cage impersonator.
Yeah.
Essentially, you've got Selma Hayek as some sort of rich, has everything bought for her, daddy's girl kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Penelope Cruz, as a farmer's daughter, has nothing bought for her, essentially has a good relationship with her horse, and that's it. Which sounds pretty weird, but you know, she has spends like the first bit of the film. She spends the first scene playing tic-tac-toe with her horse. So, I mean, that's a clever horse. Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a clever horse. But yeah, and they there's some guy trying to build a railroad through Mexico, and so demolishes their houses because of it. And they decide to rob banks that belong to this guy, and rise up against the powerful regime.
It could have been a lot better than what it was.
Yes, it could have.
The pace of the film is generally good. It didn't. Well, I didn't think it dragged on.
No, it moved along at a fair old pace, I guess, but it was so kind of half-heartedly done for a Luc Besson film as well. I mean, we had it was written and produced by him.
Yeah.
So you'd expect a little bit more, kind of a bit more of a punchy script. I guess.
It was directed by, what are the names? Joachim Ronning and Espen Sandberg.
Good job you've got those down there, because I wouldn't have remembered them.
I wouldn't have remembered about the notes.
No, it was pretty dull, if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, it had like the fair old pace, but nothing really exciting happened, and I was never really engaged that much.
I don't know why, it just kept reminding me of Robert Rodriguez, what was it? Desperado, but it wasn't even half as good.
Yeah, it's like El Mariachi and Desperado, isn't it?
Yeah.
But,
Once Upon a Time in Mexico, but Desperado was the best one.
Essentially, and it's also just an excuse for, you got Salma Hayek and Penelope Cruz as, kind of good-looking women as they are, just in kind of scantily clad outfits in the West. And
this film had potential. It could have been a lot better than what it was.
It was just so poorly done.
It was just so bad. It was bad.
It's so bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I get what you're saying there. I mean,
sometimes you can have films which are so bad they're good, or which are just so bad they're wow. But this wasn't. I
mean, you've got the best example I can think of a film that's so bad it's good at the moment is Mortal Kombat. Yeah, but you agree though, don't you?
Oh yeah, that's brilliant.
It is a terrible, terrible film. I mean, it can't even call itself like a kung fu film or an action film, maybe even a thriller. It's none of those. It's just so horribly bad in all of those. But
that didn't take itself seriously.
It's just got this like magical factor about it that you can't help but love it.
Yeah. This film,
doesn't
it
have
had
that
potential.
Factor.
It failed to deliver, but at the same time,
I mean, you've got that.
I was generous. I gave it a 5. I think it's worth seeing at least once.
You were, maybe. I guess I gave it a 2, and because my interest levels were kind of all right throughout the first bit of the film, and then it just kind of it didn't build up to like a big finale like it should have done, and it was just kind of gradually sliding down.
It wasn't an original film. I felt it was trying to copy, like I said earlier, Desperado in the same sort of style, if it makes sense. But it obviously it couldn't compete with that. And
you kind of have like a kind of buddy relationship going between. Well, they hate each other at first, but then they grow to love each other. Of course, they grow to love each other as partners and friends and all that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it kind of works, and they're kind of good at their acting, but is that they're let down by quite a shoddy script, and just
I think they're let down by a lot more than the script.
Yeah,
there was just no.
Plus, but the high point is the bad guy in it.
Oh yeah,
you've got He is essentially... I don't know who this guy is. I don't know if you made a note of his name or anything, but the guy...
No.
But I don't know who he is, but he does his very best impression of Nicolas Cage, obviously. And I think...
Funny thing is, I thought it was Nicolas Cage to begin with, and then I got thinking, that doesn't quite look like Nicolas Cage.
Like,
turns for left, turns for right. No, it's not Nicolas Cage.
No.
And I looked at the cup, I looked at the, the...
I couldn't work out who it was, and I didn't read the cast list at the end, so I didn't figure it out. But I think had they had more money to make this film, they would have got Nicolas Cage to do it.
Yeah.
Because they obviously wanted him in it. And he was very funny. I admit.
He was good. He was a decent bad guy, but, the two women, it's had that sense of seen it before. I've seen it a lot better before. This is just a spin-off.
Yeah.
Well, not even a spin-off, it's just a...
Well, the fact that we've never heard of this film before DVD release, and, I mean, Luc Besson is one of those guys that, kind of eagerly await his next thing, because he does some cracking action films.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had The Fifth Element out of him, we've had Taken, we had The Extraordinary Adventures of Adele Blanc-Sec. We had that a few weeks ago, and that was cracking. That was an absolutely amazing film.
Maybe he's just going through a bad phase with this one.
I obviously did, because this one, I mean, along with Colombiana...
Oh, yeah.
He had this and he had Colombiana, and, it's just... He's up and down so much with his ideas, it's just... I don't get it.
If he'd been directing it, I think it would have been a lot better, but, he's a busy guy.
Obviously, he's obviously busy making Adele Blanc-Sec 2, which I'm very eagerly awaiting. Come on, you want to see a sequel to that.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm curious if there's going to be a Transporter 4, but...
Oh, I'm less curious about that. I think 3 is where they should have left the Transporter series. Maybe they shouldn't even have made 3.
Come on, we were looking on the internet earlier, they're going to make a Die Hard 5.
They are making Die Hard 5, but that's awesome. It's Die Hard.
Yeah, does his son get kidnapped? Come on, his wife's been kidnapped twice.
His son will probably get kidnapped somewhere throughout the film.
He's part of the McClane family, you've got to get kidnapped to face... I love the Die Hard films, like any family difficulties, throw in some terrorists and we'll all be smiling at the end of it.
Yeah, we just need Alan Rickman to come back and that'll be perfect. I mean, yeah, sidetracking, but Bandidas, just pretty terrible overall. I mean, the action was lackluster. It was.
Yeah. There were some good scenes in it, but
they were few and far between.
Not enough to save the film overall. I was generous in giving it a 5.
I wasn't generous. I gave it a 2. Same as the Arena film we got. The last episode. I think it's along that level of shitness.
The Arena was better.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Moving on.
I think we'll move on to our trailers. So Bandidas is out the way, done with. Blah, get out of the way. Agent Vinod starts our trailers.
Bollywood.
Yeah.
Bollywood spy film. This looks good.
It does look very fun. It looks...
For anyone who's seen Doom 2, that's a Bollywood film.
Yeah, it's not... let's just clarify, it's not the film Doom based on the video games with The Rock.
Doom 2, DHOOM space 2. That was a brilliant film. To me, that reset the standard for action films, where...
I don't think anyone else got your memo, though.
It's just brilliant. It's like the train scene at the beginning of it, the slow motion sequences, the fact that the guy falls off a cliff but he comes back, and this is Doom 2. I remember seeing it at the cinema with a couple of mates.
I had no idea what this film is. I had no idea what it's about. I've never seen it.
It's a brilliant...
Probably never will. I don't know.
It was just so well done, the background music. But sorry, coming back to Agent Vinod. Is it Vinod?
Yeah, Agent Vinod. So
this looks...
It's like someone who has like loads of different personalities. Well, he has loads of different colours. He's a spy and he never gives away his real name. And he just goes around kicking the shit out of people. Really?
But I love the fact the trailer... It didn't give away too much about the story. But the fact this guy can leap off walls and... do backflips and then just click his fingers and there's a cigar in his mouth.
And knowing Bollywood films, it'll probably be about like 3.5 hours long. Most of the time.
Bollywood films are good. They're fun, they're enjoyable. You can't fault them because no one
cares.
You can have 2 people talking and out of nowhere suddenly have 50 people dancing around you. I like Bollywood films. They're fun.
I haven't seen.
They're
I haven't
enjoyable.
seen enough of them. Maybe we should do Bollywood season or something like a Bollywood season of films when we do the little changes to it. That'd be good.
But they're fun. They're enjoyable. They're fun. They're enjoyable.
Agent Vinod or Vinod. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I really don't, because they didn't say it in the trailer either. So you're not really sure how to.
No, that's just it. Just some.
It was good. It was enjoyable trailer. Unlike our next trailer, which was ridiculous in a bad way.
Battlefield America. Basically,
it's not the sequel to Battle Los Angeles or anything like that. It's
basically a bunch of kids
so bad
dancing, but it was not. This trailer wasn't a touch on the FP, which we looked at in the last episode.
You got the same sort of setup as Step Up and was it Street Dance and all that sort of stuff. But essentially they try and tie it in with two rival gangs who compete in dance tournaments and stuff, street dance tournaments and stuff like that, isn't it?
It's just it's just where the kids are like, I'll see you in the arena.
Yeah, I'll see you on the dance floor, and they bump into each other really menacingly in cafes and stuff like that. And it's like, you better watch your back, and I'm like, what?
It looks pretty awful, to be honest. If you watch the last episode we did, the trailer for the FP was brilliant. That was
because it wasn't taking itself really seriously, was it?
No, it was.
But this one is this is a serious film about dance. This is a serious film where people sort out their differences through the medium of dance. I was like, no.
Who needs war? We can have dance and stuff.
Yeah. You could just imagine, I don't know, previous wars, the Iraqi War, the Afghan War. We send our finest dancers over there. Yeah, it's nice. We will decide whether we have your oil through the medium of dance.
I'll see you in the arena.
Yeah, it's just. It looks absolutely ridiculous. And I
mean, was it your closing of the trailer? You got a bunch of kids walking along in really tuck suits and just sunglasses and just
and I'm sure all the dance routines will probably be they'll be very intricate and very lively and probably quite fun to watch.
Yeah,
but you can search that stuff up on YouTube anyway.
I'll stick with the FP when it comes out.
Yeah, I will do as well. I'll stick with the FP. Next trailer. Let's get that out of the way. Next trailer. Comic-Con Episode 4.
This trailer looks
A Nerd's
brilliant.
Hope.
I'm a nerd. I'm into my comics, and I'd love to go to a comic book convention like this.
Like Comic-Con, yeah. And it's essentially... It's a documentary by Morgan Spurlock who did Super Size Me. I can't remember the other one Morgan Spurlock's done. He's done quite a couple of big documentaries, but Super Size Me is the biggest one. And now he's doing a documentary about Comic-Con and just the impact it has on so many people's lives. Designers who are making up suits and geeks who, well, I say geeks, but people who just collect comic books. There is nothing. I'm not saying that I'm pretty much a geek myself with all the but I mean, I've always been interested in Comic-Con. It looks like a fascinating place to go to.
I'd love to go to one. I mean,
it's just I never realised it was such a serious place. It was such a serious place where people could make careers out of it. You could get people designing their own stuff and then taking it, and someone saying, "Come work in the film industry as a storyboard artist or a costume maker." And it's that whole new level of it that's drawn me into this documentary. Just Comic-Con is more than just people to go, oh my god, there's the new Hulk magazine or something like that,
There's a comic book store down the lanes, and I remember after Spider-Man 3 when it came out, and I was in that comic book store, and it was just where someone I could hear someone saying, oh yeah, Spider-Man 3 was really good, and then I was about to say something,
and suddenly,
no! Suddenly all these other people were just no, it wasn't.
Yeah, just this guy gets mobbed in a comic book store for saying Spider-Man 3. You will die here tonight. Just for saying that film is good.
But they're right though, because Spider-Man 3 was pretty awful.
It was shit. It really was.
Sorry, getting sidetracked.
Yeah, but Comic-Con, this looks an interesting documentary. I really do want to see this.
The Stormship Troopers.
Oh yeah, the Stormtroopers. What's it? And you've got all these kind of celebrity accounts in it as well. You had Seth Rogen and who was the other guy? The first guy you saw.
Stan Lee.
Well, Stan Lee didn't get... He wasn't one of the talking heads in it. Yeah, the guy who did Clerks. Who's the guy who did Clerks?
Don't know.
Oh, Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith. There you go. He was in it as well. But there's just all these guys talking about their experiences at Comic-Con. It looks fascinating. It really does look fascinating. I'm really interested in it. But we'll move on from that. We'll go on to Brave. The second trailer for Brave that popped up.
It's a Disney Pixar film. The trailer, basically,
It wasn't really a trailer. It was more like a sequence from the film, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what it felt like. But it was good. It still didn't give too much away. Basically, you got people firing arrows to see if they can marry the king's daughter.
Mm. And then she decides to do it herself. She says, "I will shoot for my own hand in marriage,"
and she obviously beats them all.
Yeah. But being a Pixar film, it looks good. You can't deny that. It looks
good.
It looks good. I'm sure.
It didn't give too much away about the trailer, about the story for the film overall.
There is a more in-depth trailer online. The first trailer was released a couple of weeks ago or a few months ago. I can't remember, but that is a bit more in-depth about the story and everything.
Yeah.
But it's a Pixar film. I'll go and watch it.
I'd like to watch it when it comes out.
Pixar have that standard of filmmaking that they won't release something unless they know it's...
Was Bolt a Pixar?
No. Bolt was DreamWorks and Sony, I think.
Still loved it. Sorry.
Bolt was
super bark.
But
sorry,
the pinnacle... What's your favourite Pixar, then? Go on. I know my favourite Pixar off the mark, and I know most people will say Toy Story 3, but mine is not
Toy
that.
Story 3.
What's your favourite Pixar? I'll tell you. I'll tell you mine.
Yours?
Mine is WALL-E.
I haven't seen WALL-E.
Leave this room. Leave your own flat immediately.
Forgive me, comrade.
You have not seen. I hold that film in such high regard. WALL-E is like the perfect It's
Incredibles.
Okay, that's also you do a top 5.
No, The Incredibles is my favourite because it was you had adult humour and very child's humour.
Yeah, very family oriented.
It was a really good film,
and it is. Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you.
I
as
hope
well.
they do make a sequel. It's been
I think it's been too long.
Because number 1 ends. You think there's going to be a sequel?
You hope. Yeah, but I think I think they might be a little bit put off sequels now because they've done their Toy Story trilogy, and Cars 2 was a bit of a flunk. I mean, I will still want to see Cars 2. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it. I mean,
but Cars 2 was generally panned.
To be honest, Cars was the kind of film you shouldn't really have had a sequel to.
My understanding, though, is that Cars 2 is trying to be a completely different type of film. I think everyone...
I thought number 1 ended off with I can't remember the car's name, but he had
Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
Trust me, I work in a nursery. This thing comes up all the time.
the remote place where those other cars are, it suddenly becomes part of a highway again.
I can't remember.
You couldn't really have a sequel to that.
Yeah, you can't. It's one of those different... They definitely had a definite end to it, but, we'll see. But, yeah, Brave looks... it looks good.
I'm curious about it. I'll watch it when it comes out.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a Pixar film. As we said, we have to watch it when it comes out. It's a Pixar film. They're like one of the best studios around, aren't they?
Yeah, but I mean... I don't have to watch it. I'll choose to watch it.
No, I will force you at gunpoint to watch Brave at the cinema.
Moving on to the next trailer.
Talking about being forced at gunpoint. The Raid.
Oh, this is brilliant.
This does look very good. It's a very kind of back to basics action film. It looks like essentially this ultra SWAT team from in Japanese film in Japan. They go into this 30-story tower block to take out this crime lord, and it seems to just be them moving up floor by floor and taking out criminals as they go, and that's the film. Because the guy's watching them, and he just says, he alerts them, I know you're in there, so all my men are coming to meet you now. Have fun.
It's just brilliant, leaping off walls. It was basically
what I loved about it. There was kung fu in it.
Yeah.
There looked to be some serious kung fu fights in it.
Kung fu, guns, explosions, action sequences.
And it's been a while since I've seen a very good kung fu film. Or since I've seen a kung fu film in general. The last one I saw that was amazing was Ip Man, which had you might not have heard. It's a like kind of true life story of Bruce Lee's mentor, Ip Man. Oh. It's got Donnie Yen in it, but the kung fu fights in that are just spectacular. Really spectacular stuff.
Have you seen On Back?
On Back is amazing. It is amazing, and the fact that they do that all for real as well, it just blows my mind. You know, they really hit each other in On Back. It's brutal fucking stuff.
Yeah,
but it's amazing at the same time. But yeah, The Raid looks good. It looks like it's got decent mix of action.
Kung fu. Just the bad guy looks good.
He looks
I can see you coming.
Yeah,
beak.
Yeah, just like it's everyone there on that floor now. Go and kill them, please.
Looks like the old school Blofeld sort of bad guy. You failed me. Beat.
Yeah. But it does look very good. The trailer's online on Empire. I think we saw. This is the only one that came from Empire. All the rest of them came from Apple.com. So yeah, go check those out and let us know what you think of them. That'd be very nice. Nice to always have some feedback from these things.
And this brings us on to
our last film of the week, which is
the Ides of March.
The Ides of March.
I can sum it up as dirty politics, basically. But you have a really good cast. You have Ryan Gosling,
the new king of cool, essentially. He is.
I wouldn't say he's the king of cool. I'd just put him down as a good actor.
He's so cool in everything he does. You saw Drive. We saw Drive.
Yeah, Drive was a good film.
He's cool in that. He's just slick and Crazy Stupid Love. He had that in it, and he was a cool character in that.
Yeah, but he was meant to be a cool character in that.
Yeah, but he played it off very well.
Yeah, but in comparison to what's that guy's name?
Steve Carell.
Yeah, he was meant to be in comparison to Steve Carell. That's what made that film work.
But anyway, the plot of The Ides of March is you've got Ryan Gosling as the chief campaign manager for George Clooney, who is running for president. He's running for the Democratic primary, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's running for the Democratic position, Democratic candidacy for president. And he gets approached, Ryan Gosling gets approached by the opposite, his main rival saying, "Oh, we want you to come work for us."
Yeah.
And it all just spirals out of control from there. And it kind of unearths secrets and
involves
everything like
affairs.
Yeah, there's secrets and all that sort of stuff that come up. It is, as you said, it's dirty politics, but it's dirty politics done very well. It's acted incredibly well.
The pace of the film is good. I didn't get bored with it. I thought I was going to get bored with it, but I didn't. The film moves at a good pace, good acting. I mean, you've also got Philip Seymour Hoffman in there as well.
He's good. He's very, very... He's just very straight. He's a very straight character in it. He knows right down the line what he has to do. And this film is... You got like people like Marisa Tomei.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying that as like kind of a dirty reporter in it. It just anything to get the scoop.
That was really good. It played out.
There are lots of like little intricate plot lines in it, and it's. I mean, as far as like political dramas and stuff like that go, I always kind of rate The West Wing, the TV series The West Wing, as like the highest of them, because that just had everything going for it, and especially because it dealt with it all. It dealt with, they were in the White House and then they had to run for the presidency again, and it's like that. It's essentially like that. This film, it's essentially like that kind of.
It's good. I mean, you see George Clooney, give his performances to the media, in the cameras, and then backstage, it's like, I should have done this.
There's the final confrontation, like with Ryan Gosling and George Clooney, is just.
It was
brilliant.
really well done.
That's brilliant. They're just standing, both of them in a kitchen, at the back of this restaurant, and they just have it out. They don't fight or anything. But it's just like verbal.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
This is where I'm coming from. You'll do this, you'll do that. Like, no, I won't, because I have this evidence, and then. Oh, maybe we can find a solution.
But it's all just very well scripted. I mean, films like this rely on a good script. You can have the idea, and it's George Clooney who wrote it as well.
I didn't know that.
No, George Clooney wrote and directed it, and acted in it. He's one of those guys that does that sort of thing.
So I'll always remember him for Batman and Robin, but putting that to one side.
You'll always remember them for terrible films, won't you?
Oh, come on, Batman and Robin.
It is a terrible film!
I know, but it was so beautifully done.
I don't think beautiful is quite the right word most people would use.
I gave the Ides of March 6 out of 10.
And I gave it a 7.
It was really well done film, but it just
lacked a little
there was
something
something
extra.
missing from it.
Yeah, it lacked a little something, didn't it?
It wasn't. It didn't have a climax, but
although this is a very good film to seek out and watch, I think if of all the films we've seen this week, you've got this and The Skin I Live In.
Skin I Live In towered over this one.
But those out of the films we've seen this week, these two
are genuinely good films to watch.
Those are the films you would just need to seek out and watch. I mean, they're good films overall. And The Ides of March, no, not as good as The Skin I Live In by a mile, as you said, but it's still entertaining and
still
engaging.
A good film. It's a good film to watch. The pace is good. The whole film, the acting was good. It just lacked. I don't even know what it lacked. It just lacked.
Yeah, there was something you can't quite put your finger on.
I don't know if it was the story or if there was some dramatic moment it lacked. But
you wouldn't watch it again in a hurry, would you?
No.
This is the thing. You wouldn't be like, there are certain films like if you watch it and then someone else says, "Oh, I'm watching that. Do you want to come over and watch it with me?" You go, "Oh yes, I'll go over and watch it again," even if you've seen it like the previous day.
Yeah. This isn't one of those films.
No, exactly. I mean, The Skin I Live In. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next day, watch it day after day after day, and not.
Sorry, we're dragging on here about The Skin I Live In, but that.
Yeah,
it's one of the best films I've seen this year. Skin I Live In.
Yeah, definitely.
And putting that to one side brings us to the end of this show.
Yeah. So Ides of March
Ides of March was good, but like I'm just repeating myself now. It could have been better, but at the same time, it's still
a very good film.
Good film to watch.
And we will see you next week.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
Have a good week, guys. See you later. Oh. That's it.